Hey everyone, and welcome to the midweek episode of the vlog. So we've got lots to talk about today. We're going to talk about my A4. Is it still here or have I sold it? We're going to talk about this car here, the Abarth. A couple of things that need to be done on that, and I need to sort out a problem on my Fiesta. I have an earth problem, and I'm going to show you that problem when I bring the car in the garage. But let's first of all get straight into some of the issues that we're having and how we're going to resolve them. Okay, so first on the list is our Abarth. So we've got to change the lambar sensor, and I'll tell you where that is. It is right there. So that sensor there. Now to get to it, I've got to take all of this apart, strip it all down, even get that off, just so I can get to that sensor. Unless somebody knows an easier way of getting to it, it's quite a lot of work that needs to be done. Plus, at the same time, when I took it for the MOT, I had a misfire on number 4. So I'm just waiting for a new coil pack and spark plug. I'm going to change the pair so that we don't have any issues. And I know we should just check the coil pack, but the spark plug, that's an easier check and cheaper check, but I'm just going to change the plugs anyway. So that's coming up. So I'm going to get that out of the way. We can get the Fiesta in here. Now to change the lambar sensor, you do need to get these plugs. So these are sensor socket sets, and what they have is they have like these little slots here, and that allows you to work around the wire, which often will get in your way. So there's various sizes for various different jobs, and also different angles as well, so you can put a socket in there and turn it. Same with this one as well. So this should be able to allow me to do the sensor in the car. And if you want to get yourself one of these, go to our Castle Paul store, our Amazon store, linked below, and you'll see that on the shop. It's quite reasonable actually. Okay, so I need to get the car out so we can get the Fiesta in, and then we can start taking a look at that. Fire in the hole! Okay, so in general, I've been using this car now for the last 4 days, driving it back and forth to work, and it's been absolutely fine. My only issue with this car, I have 2 issues at the moment with it. Number one, this car has a basically the back box on it is it's a back box delete. So it doesn't have a back box, it's just got a straight through pipe. And boy, do you know it when it's on the motorway. So on the motorway, you just get this constant drone from the exhaust pipe. And I must say, the exhaust pipe looks really great. It's a single pipe, but it's so loud that it really draws attention on a motorway. And it would be great if the car was like 700 brake horsepower, but it really doesn't give the power output that the noise warrants. The other issue, and this one is a little bit more concerning, is that there is an earth problem. I'm going to see if I can demonstrate to you what I mean. Okay, so the lights are on the car. You can't really see it that well here, but this light here, nice and bright. This light here, really dim. And if you notice as well down below, the fog lights are on, and they shouldn't be. So they're on really dimly, and also the little side lights on as well. So just trying to show you, you can see that that's on. So there's a bad earth here somewhere, and I know Fiestas notoriously suffer bad from this main earth here. It's notoriously causing shorts in the vehicle. And it could also explain, in fact it does explain, the reason why when I'm driving, my ABS light that I thought was a fault isn't actually a fault. It's actually as a result of the lights. So when the lights come on, what happens is that this speedo starts dancing, so the needle starts doing that. And when the needle starts doing that, the ABS can't get a proper signal, the ABS and the traction control. So those lights come on to tell you that there's a fault, that those systems are now offline. So doing some research online, those symptoms are typical of a bad earth. Now I have an earth on here that is I know I need to sort out. So I'm going to do that right now. To do that, I need to take off this headlight here, and then what I'm going to do then is take off this earth strap down here, this one here, and I'm going to clean behind this terminal, and then put the cable back in, and hopefully that should improve our earthing. And I'm probably going to run my cable, because there was a cable that was in the car when I first bought this car. It was attached to the body here, and I've never been comfortable with that cable, and I think that's probably the cause of my earth, that somehow someone decided to put that there rather than put it where it should be. So let's run that cable. We're going to do some tests first to make sure, and what we should see is how that headlight looks now. This headlight over here should look exactly the same, and it's really important to get this sorted because I leave early in the morning, about 6:30 when it's still dark, so I need my headlights, and at the moment it feels like I'm driving on side lights, and that's just dangerous on the motorway, plus illegal. I should have full working lights at all times. So let's get that fixed, and then that will make this car safe. Okay, so I found this cable. Now let me just make this very clear. This is not a cable that I've put in. This is one that I've found in the loom that I've just unwrapped. You can see the cable, the tape here. So I suspect this may be part of our issue. It was on a bolt which doesn't really have a good earth. So what I'm going to do is, I have two choices. I can either use one of the bolts up here, but I'm actually going to run a cable. I'm going to basically use a splice joint, and I'm going to crimp I'm going to cut them fresh, crimp them together, and then I'm going to run a cable back to that earth point over here. So I'll take this apart, I'll clean this up, and I'll run a proper clip into that earth point there, and hopefully that should improve. But we're going to do a little test first of all, just to see how that looks. I'll put the light on, and then we'll see if that fixes the issue. Okay, so before we start playing with any electrics, even though we're sorting with the earth, we need to disconnect the battery. I think we've learned our lesson the hard way. So let's get our ratchet. We need a 10mm and an extension bar from our Sonic toolbox, and let's disconnect the earth and him over there, and then we're good to go. So let me show you what we've done. So you see me clean up the joint there, and I am going to put some sealant on there to protect that, because that will only corrode again. So before you start getting heavy-handed on the comments, that's what we're going to do. But what I've also done is, this is the cable, this is a 7-amp cable, and we've crimped that up, and we have connected that to the main earth rather than the poor earth that I had on the other side. So that's all now in place. So what we need to do now is just test. So what we should see is that this light should look the same as that light over there, and where I saw those floodlights coming on, they shouldn't be on when I turn on the side lights, and everything should be nice and bright. So let's go and do that right now, and then let's see what the results look like. Right, so there we go. That light is now much better, and it's the same as this light over here. So I'm happier with that. I think we still need to get some bulbs, because that bulb here, I'm not sure that's the right bulb. But immediately that light there that was on, no longer on, which is perfect. And this light was also on the other side, and as you can see, that's also no longer on. And if you remember earlier, we had these lights on, they're no longer on either. So I think we've fixed our earth problem. So I'm going to go to Halfords to get some brighter lights, because these halogens are just like they're ugly. I hate halogens. In fact, what I'm probably going to do is upgrade these to HIDs, because having driven a car with LED lights for 2 years and seen the brightness, that is just quite dim. But I can actually see the road now, which I couldn't, and that's perfect. So I'll go to Halfords, I'm going to get some proper lights, and then we'll test it again and we'll see what this beam looks like. But I think for now we have solved our problem with the earth, which I am very pleased with, and that in turn should also fix the issue with the needle bouncing around, but we'll know on my drive to Halfords.
Moments later.
Okay, back from Halfords, and you'll be pleased to know that the needle is no longer bouncing around, so that's a speedo. So we fixed our earth problem. Really pleased with that. And I've got these lights from Halfords. So these lights, these are allegedly 150 times brighter than standard halogen. Now what 150 times is, I really don't know, but nevertheless they should be brighter than the standard lights. I also found out that you're no longer allowed to fit HIDs onto vehicles that don't have them as original equipment. It is illegal, apparently, according to the guy in Halfords. I'm not sure about that, but let me know in the comments below if that's the case. So what he was saying is that the original equipment, if they're not if you fit HIDs and you put your car for an MOT, it will fail the MOT, and that's even if you've got projector lights. So that's definitely a new one on me. But anyway, so these lights are supposed to be much brighter. So I'm going to put these on and then we'll see what the effects are. But to put these on, I've got to take the headlights off again. So we'll do that and then we'll see the difference. Okay, so these are the lights, standard lights. And now the next scene you're going to see is the lights with the new light bulbs. Okay, so that's the new bulb, what it looks like. It is brighter, definitely is brighter. I can see better without it. Let me turn it off and you'll see the difference. Yeah, that is better. Okay, so I want to show you something. Getting the main beam is a complete nightmare unless you do it correctly, and there is a correct procedure to do that. Now this is the clip. It's got a couple of guide rails, and then inside here you will notice that there are these rails, and that's how this goes in. Now normally what happens is, and what I've been trying to do for the last half an hour, is mount the actual bulb to the actual clip or the switch, and then mount it. If you try it like that, you will not get this to fit. You will be there like I was for half an hour, and I even googled it and couldn't see how to do it. And I imagine the reason why Ford have done it this way is so that you don't touch the bulb, because when you touch the bulb, what happens is the halogen bulb, it heats up the oil from your hands and then it discolors. So the correct procedure to install this, the actual bulb holder has got some little plastic dips, and these correspond to these little dips. Let me try and get it focused so you can see the dips. So there we go. So there's two little dips on the actual bulb. That's where these two plastic holders they correspond to, and it's really important that you get this in place, because if you don't, what happens, as you can see on this bulb here, it's got burn marks, and what it does is it heats up the plastic, because these get incredibly hot, these bulbs, and it will heat up the plastics around and then damage it. So the correct procedure is you insert the bulb, and the bulb will only go in one way. So once it's sitting correctly in place, what you then do is you then get this clip and then put it onto the guides. So there are 2 guides there, and if you get the nails going that guide correctly, like I'm showing you now, it goes in like that. Really simple. So there's a top tip for you in getting these main beams correctly installed on these headlights, because mines weren't given the right intensity, and the reason why is because it was sticking out, and there was also a burning smell. When I took this off, I could smell burning, and what it was a plastic, because the actual main beam wasn't sitting correctly in the holder. So it's really important. The same with these, although these are a lot easier, the dip beam, the main beam must be placed correctly. So just remember that. And some more good news, I've taken the car for a test drive and the needle is no longer dancing, which has resolved the ABS and the traction control issue, and now the car is no longer showing any code. So all of that was done or was created by the bad earth. So really glad to get that sorted. Well, if you haven't guessed by now, the fact that I'm using this car as my daily means that I've sold my A4. The A4 went on Friday of last week, which means that I am looking for a new car. Now, I did say that I was going to hang out and wait for the R8. Not sure how long that's going to take, but as a daily, I'm not sure that this is really going to cut the mustard. It's a great car, and the more I'm driving it, the better it is. But the fact that it has a straight through exhaust pipe is so noisy on a motorway, and yeah, I think I'm a bit too old for that. The noise is just too much. However, I must say that since fixing the earth problem, it had a little bit of a misfire, completely gone now. So not sure whether that was the earth that was causing that, but it certainly has gone now. So it probably was. So yeah, it's amazing what one bad earth can do. So I am looking for another car, but like I said before, I'm looking for a sporty little number, and you guys have given me some suggestions. This is what I was bidding on last week, if you look on screen now. So it was an RS3, and in the end it went for just a little bit too much money, and it wasn't the fact that it went above my budget, it was just the fact that it was too close to buying a clean car in terms of the value and what it would have cost to taking it or put it back on the road. So rather than spend the money and get caught up in the bidding process, I let that car go, and I also let a couple of others go as well. But I think we're getting really close to now getting a car. I've got about 5 cars in mind, and as soon as I secure one, you guys will be the first to know, but I think it's going to happen this side of the holiday season, so stay tuned, more to come. Or anyway, so thanks for watching this update. Don't forget to subscribe down here and then press that notification bell so that you are notified whenever we have released a video. And be sure to watch some of my other videos now, which are all now in playlists, so you can binge watch as you can over the holidays. Next week on Monday, we're going to be putting a TFT screen or digital display into the Abarth to just smarten up the dashboard, so that should be interesting. And I'm going to be showing you how to resolve the issue with the mileage. So when you put a new clock in, obviously that clock is going to have a mileage recorded from another vehicle. How do you resolve that? I'm going to show you how to do that. So enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and we will see you next Monday.